Good morning, children. It's Wednesday, 13th May 2020. Now, today we'll be doing the next chapter in Street Child. I hope everybody is enjoying the story. I'm getting lots of good work on my emails. So, well done to all those children who have been trying to do their online learning. So, today we are going to read the next chapter of Street Child. Now, the resources that you will need for this lesson are a pen and a sheet of paper. I'm going to pause the slide so that you can get your pen and sheet of paper. Now, our learning intention is to find meanings of words in a dictionary. Success criteria: I can deduce from the evidence in the text why characters act as they do. I can use a dictionary to find meanings of words. So I'm going to pause the slide. Write down your learning intention neatly in your books. Chapter 10. Lame Betsy. We don't give to beggars, the girl said, trying to edge him out of the door again with her knee. I'm looking for Emily. Emily? There's no Emily here. Emily Jarvis. She helps Rosie out in the kitchen. Rosie? Who's she? The girl was laughing down at him through her loose hair. Rosie, Jim said. You must know Rosie. She's got big arms and she don't like making bread. The girl burst out laughing and looked over her shoulder at a woman who was sewing by the table. Hear that? She said. There's no one here who doesn't like making bread, is there? She laughed again and the other woman laughed back in a mocking sort of way. Jim peered past the girl. Surely it was the right kitchen. It had to be. You'll have to go, Sonny, the girl said. You've snooped round for long enough, I reckon. There was a lady with a black crinkly dress, Jim said, called Jude. She'll remember. Jude, the other woman said. She put her sewing down. She was the last housekeeper. She was sent away, and there was another woman too, the cook. I got her job. They were found hiding some street children in the kitchen, and his lordship dismissed them. Now read the remaining chapter very quietly in your minds. Okay, I'm going to read the ending of the chapter. Ma died a long time ago, Jim began. Rosie pressed him to her and ran her hands through his hair, hugging him as if he was a tiny child again. And the very first time since Joseph had told him the terrible news, Jim let out all the hurt that had been locked up inside him and cried for his mother. So this was a very long chapter, children, and we come to know in this chapter that Jim met Rosie and he informed her that his mom had died, and for the first time he actually cried for his mother because he was very close to Rosie, I think he felt that Rosie was like his mother. So as soon as she pressed him to her, I think all his feelings like that had been locked up inside him came out, and he started crying for his mother. Now here are a few guided reading questions. Pause the slide, answer the questions, and then go on the slide to find the answers. Why have Jude and Rosie been dismissed from their job? What sort of atmosphere is the author trying to create in the servants' quarters? Is she successful in doing so? How? What evidence is there to suggest that Rosie is shocked to see Jim again? Rosie is the only person in the world who has shown Jim any kindness. Do you agree with this statement? Use evidence from the story. Write down your answers before you check them from the next slide. Okay, now the answers to the questions are: His Lordship found out that they had been hiding some street children in the kitchen, and that was the reason why Rosie and Jude had been dismissed from their jobs. It was a very warm, cozy and friendly atmosphere in the servants' quarters. The evidence that shows that it was a nice atmosphere in the servants' quarters is that he liked the warm kitchen and the winking cook, but most of all he liked the warm, sweet-smelling bread. Rosie dropped the herring into the flames where it spurted like a blue light. Okay, so this shows that Rosie was very surprised when she saw Jim. That's the evidence. And then the last answer is: Rosie pressed him to her and ran her hands through his hair, hugging him as if he was a tiny child again. Jim let out all the hurt locked inside him and cried for his mother. So Rosie is the only person who has shown feelings for Jim. Now, for spag, we are going to find words in a dictionary. Now, you have been doing this since a long time. How do you find words in a dictionary? Now, finding words alphabetically. Okay, so whenever you want to find meanings of words, you always go alphabetically. Okay, so A comes before D. So if you've got able and disarm, you will first look for able and then disarm because A comes before D. Okay, then the second letter, supposing if you have two words that begin with A, then you need to go to the next word or the next letter. So you have got AARD, VARK, and then you have got the abacus. Okay, so now the A comes before B, so you're going to see the first word first. Okay, and then director and dismiss. So the R comes before S, so of course you're going to see director first and dismiss later. Okay, now what comes first? Dinghy or dinner? Diplomat or diploma? Now in dinghy and dinner, DIN and DIN is the same. Now next, now you can see the fourth letter. So does G come first or does N come first? And in diplomat and diploma, the word ends at A, whereas in diplomat the word ends at T. So of course A comes before T. So you are going to first look out for diploma and then diplomat. Okay, so as I said, first it will be dinghy and then dinner, and then diploma and then diplomat. Now your task is, after reading this chapter, it was a very long chapter, children, about 5-6 pages. After reading this chapter, read through the list of words with your partner. Now, of course, you don't have your partner here, but maybe you can take help from your parents or your brothers and sisters. Write down the sentence in the story where each word appears. Next, talk with them about what word class it belongs to. Finally, use a dictionary to check your ideas, then write down a definition. The words are, okay, entrails, pails, brassiere and skewers. So there is a table there, children, where it says where can you find the sentence in the story. So search for entrails Write down the sentence where you find it in the story. Then write down whether it's a noun, a verb, or an adjective. Okay, so what is entrails? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it a describing word like an adjective? So write that down and then write down the dictionary definition. Now I know many of you won't have dictionaries at home. Don't worry if you don't have a dictionary at home. Go on Google and write down the word like for example you can write down entrails and then next to it write down dictionary definition and you will get the answer. Okay, same applies to pails, brassiere and skewers. Okay, so don't worry if you don't have a dictionary, you can always find the exact definition if you just go on Google and just write down dictionary definition. Okay, and then if possible, as a challenge, you can even write a sentence on these words. It's just 4 words, and if you can find some extra words, some extra challenging words from the chapter, you can write them down as well and find the dictionary definition of those words as well. Good luck for the task, and I'll see you tomorrow. See that you email me all of your tasks on the year 5 email address. Bye bye.